Hello and welcome back to the Restart CBD channel. My name is Shada and today we are going to discuss the current Texas cannabis laws in a two-part series, first focusing on marijuana, and then in part two we'll cover hemp. Marijuana as defined by the federal law is not recreationally legal in Texas just yet. That includes anything that is 0.3% Delta-9 THC and higher. With that said, we do have a very adolescent medical marijuana program called TCUP, which stands for Texas Compassionate Use Program. In 2015, Texas passed the Compassionate Use Act, which allowed the first legal use of low THC cannabis products in the state for patients with intractable epilepsy. Then in June of 2019, the Texas Compassionate Use Program was expanded, allowing medical cannabis as a possible treatment for a much broader set of qualifying conditions. That included all forms of epilepsy and other seizure disorders, autism, multiple sclerosis, spasticity, ALS, terminal cancer, as well as other neurodegenerative disorders such as Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Huntington's disease, CTE, and more. As of June of 2021, the Compassionate Use Program expanded the list of medical conditions to include all cancer diagnoses and PTSD as qualifying conditions and raised the THC cap from 0.5 to 1% through the passage of HB 1525. Because of the 1% cap, TCUP does not offer flower or concentrates at this time, as those products would exceed that 1%. And of the products they currently offer, they are mostly capped at 10 to 20 milligrams of THC per dose. To become a patient, you would need to find a medical marijuana doctor in Texas and schedule a visit to see if you qualify based on one of the available conditions. Transparently, there is no state guidance on how much doctors should charge for these visits, so it ranges from $100 to $300 depending. On top of that, Texas's medical program is not a true medical program like you would imagine or might have seen in states like Colorado or California, for example. Our state is prescription-based, meaning you would not get medical reciprocity if you traveled to another state that has legalized medical marijuana. It also means you will not get a patient card, but instead you will have to maintain a prescription. Again, to maintain a prescription could cost anywhere from $8 to $30 a month just to keep your prescription active, not to mention the actual cost of the medicine on top of that. If you do qualify after seeing a doctor and getting your prescription, then you would legally be allowed to purchase and possess Delta-9 THC up to 1%. I should also mention that this program is limited as there are only 2 license holders operating at this time, and they are both located in Central Texas. And as a patient, you either have to go directly to their facility, which both happen to be located in South Austin, or wait for a pickup day when they might come near your part of the state or town. With all of that said, once you have your medicine, as long as your prescription is active and your medicine is kept in the original packaging, should you run into law enforcement and any issues arise, they would be able to look up your patient number in their database to verify that you are in good standing, and that should be enough. But if your medicine is taken out of the packaging or you are caught with flower or concentrates, that doesn't qualify under TCUP. So could be a troublesome experience for you if you happen to run into law enforcement in that scenario, so please act accordingly. To learn more about Texas's medical marijuana program, you can go to the link included in the comments below. And in regards to when we might expect Texas to broaden their medical program, a reminder, we are a 2-year legislative state, meaning we introduce new legislation every 2 years. And our next legislative session kicks off in January of 2023. So look out for more updates as to what bills might be introduced to improve qualifying conditions, the THC percentage, and other helpful details that would allow the program to expand. Now, to highlight just general marijuana law in Texas, for those of you who are not a part of the TCUP program, to reiterate, anything Anything that is less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC is legal so long as it is hemp derived. And if you need a refresher on hemp versus marijuana, we have a video on that too. You can check it out on our channel. So as long as your gummy, capsule, topical, edible, vape, flower, etc. is less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC and is hemp derived, you are good to go. But if you are caught with anything that goes beyond that 0.3%, depending on where you are caught across the state, you could be in trouble. For example, concentrates like a vape pen or hash are considered felony possession. If hash or concentrates is less than 1 gram, the offense is considered a state jail felony, punishable by term of imprisonment no less than 180 days and no greater than 2 years, and a fine no greater than $10,000. It does get a bit murky because some cities have decriminalized, like Austin did recently here in 2022 when it passed Prop A, which doesn't specify a quantity of possession, but basically says the resolution prohibits the use of city funds to prosecute non-felony marijuana cases. So less than a felony, you're probably all right. It also protects residents from no-knock city warrants. Again, depending on where you might get caught, you should always be cautious and understand the law. It's not to say that because a city or county has decriminalized, you'll be okay if you run into law enforcement. There is still a lot of confusion around these products. So again, please act accordingly, be discreet, understand your rights, and pay attention. And lastly, to share a personal speculation, I do not believe we will see recreational marijuana in Texas until we have adopted a better medical marijuana program. So depending on how the teacup program gets expanded, this next year's legislative session could signify how much longer we would have to wait for adult use. I know that was a lot of information, so let me know if you have any questions in the comments below, and check out part 2 where we explain the legality of hemp in Texas and what that means for you as a consumer. Hint, medical marijuana is capped at 1% THC, and hemp allowed in Texas is less than 0.3% THC, but on a dry weight basis. So when it comes to Delta-9 THC in Texas, you're not just limited to medical marijuana, and I'm excited to explain why in our next video. Thanks again for tuning in. Be sure to hit subscribe so you won't miss our educational cannabis content, and thanks again. Bye, y'all.